Let's talk about politeness. Politeness. It's this glorious software update that humans gave themselves that turned "I have a sword and you don't" into "after you, my lord." You see, politeness isn't about kindness. No. Kindness is when you help someone because you care. Politeness is when you hold the door open for someone you have an uneasy dynamic with, hoping either for validation or favor, while hoping that a bus might run them over. Politeness is passive aggression in a dinner jacket. It's society's way of saying, "I want to kill you," but in cursive. The handshake in itself is a medieval form of a pat down. Like, hey, you see, I am unarmed. You can touch, and like we're gonna see, like there's nothing there, so I'm not gonna hurt you. And now it's become this thing that people don't really need to do other than for symbolic purposes. And half the people are germaphobes anyway, and like the other ones, I mean, like. So the handshake was, hey, you were unarmed. See, me too. Fine. So we don't mean harm for each other. Now let's discuss crops. The British perfected politeness to the degree that they took over half the world without even raising their voice. They'd show up on their ships and say, "Beautiful beaches you've got there, and a very nice economy, and hey, like you guys have, like you guys are ahead of us. Do you mind if we take over your land and exploit its people and resources for the next 300 years?" And before the victims to be could respond, the British would say, "Splendid, we'll take that as a yes." Politeness is what makes people say sorry when someone steps on them. A Canadian would be bleeding in an alley after being stabbed 14 times in the chest, and they'd be like, "Sorry, I got blood on your knife, eh?" It's a weird cultural kink. You can't just be polite, you need to perform politeness with the right vowel tone, proper body language, and like, hey, I mean, like, hey, because if I did this, if I sat like this, apparently I am just nowhere as trustworthy or nice of a human being. If I don't, though, hey, you can trust me, right? The right vowel tone, the right posture, the right facial expression. God forbid in Japan if you forget to smile emphatically while saying thank you. You've just dishonored 12 generations of people and a bonsai tree. And after that, there's things like "with all due respect," which is beautiful. With all due respect is understood as politeness, yes, because, hey, I mean, like. But the matter of fact is that "with all due respect" is never really in practice followed up by something that is something respectable to say. It's always along the lines of, "with all due respect, you are an idiot." But I said all due respect, right? So I don't mean disrespect. I don't respect you, but I don't mean disrespect. That's not politeness. That's basically putting a silencer on a bazooka. With all due respect means I'm going to say something increasingly disrespectful in whatever tone. But now that I've said "with all due respect," I hereby wash my hands off of however you feel about whatever that it is I'm about to say. Politeness wins. How? I'm as lost as you are. It's the formal. It's the corporate version of "you're an idiot." No offense. But now that I've said no offense, you can't take offense. Because if you do, hey, I didn't mean it, you just took offense out of nowhere. I said no offense. I hereby take away your right to be offended because I said no offense. The offense, so to say, simply wasn't intended, even if it was. And then, of course, you have customer service politeness. That's a hostage situation. Your call is very important to us, they'd say, while making you listen to 25 minutes of really lame music that's gonna haunt you in your dreams for the next 5 years. Politeness is society's bubble wrap. It keeps things from breaking. It's not the truth. But hey, after you. Politeness is in many ways a way of lying nicely. It's when we say, "I appreciate your input" instead of "your opinions are unfounded and meaningless." We treat politeness like it's a virtue. It isn't. It's crowd control. Politeness is what you teach people when you're trying to prevent arson. Which is odd because in India you have people who are neither polite but are very much inclined to arson. The absurd part of it all is maybe just the fact that it works. People say please while asking for things that they don't deserve. But since they said please, since they were polite about it, and they're trained to say thank you even if they're being handed scraps or just absolute bullshit. Like, thank you needs to be said because if it isn't, that's impolite and disrespectful. They say sorry when they're in pain just to make the person who made them feel the pain feel better. Take Victorian England, yeah? A society so polite, they used 5 forks and still managed to invent child labor. They dressed grief in lace. They grinned through genocide. They called rape a scandal and a war and a fair abroad. All, of course, with impeccable posture. It's not that people were better then. They decided that it was inappropriate and socially unacceptable to let someone know that you're bleeding to death. I mean, yeah, there's a whole evolutionary history that deals with when we were the early man, and you would never show your wounds to a person in front of you because they might take advantage of that wound and kill you, and then take over your assets and your food and whatever you've got. To be fair, it's exactly what keeps us from showing our vulnerability from people who've given us no reason to distrust them. The British, unsurprisingly, would know that if you show your vulnerability, people will take advantage of that. Of course they would know because they did exactly that. In the modern world, though, there is very little cause-effect relationship going in hiding your wounds. Unless, of course, you're in politics or corporate. Today, we perform politeness on a daily. We answer the question, how are you to, I'm good, thanks. And never, I'm tired and afraid. And I can't remember the last time I felt joy without checking if someone else had it first. They ask questions like, what are you up to? What's up? What's new? And these are all questions devoid of purpose. This is awkward small talk because what else would people talk about? Anything substantive or deep or meaningful would be rejected as too heavy and intense, and which it is. We live in what is a particularly shallow and superficial society. I would not call it shallow. I would call it superficial. It's all about what something looks like, not what something is. I tried this experiment when I met people whom even I knew, and they were like, hey, how are you doing? Or what's up? Or what's new? I would actually give an answer, like a proper, elaborated answer, and they would not know how to react. The best that they were able to do was be like, oh, and like, I'm pretty sure they didn't even know what I was talking about. I'm sure it was just weird for them. Well, I was weirded out by just the fact that they would ask me questions, not caring about the answer. Like, just save yourself the energy and my time. I mean, we've domesticated rage, trained to sit quietly, say nothing, cause no disturbance, point nothing wrong out, call nobody out for their shit, all in the name of civility, while we watch the world burn. But we say take care. And when we do say take care, what it means is take care of yourself. Because I won't. Politeness is beautiful. It's makeup on the face of a crumbling society. Like, share, subscribe. Actually, no, don't. I'm like, who shares? Nobody watches shared content. Just comment something or another. Yeah, cool. Ciao.